Joining us right now from the SALT conference in Las Vegas is former White House Communications Director, Skybridge Capital founder, Anthony Scaramucci. Anthony, it's great to see you.
Hey, good morning, Maria.
Yeah, just to be clear, what is it, 5:30 in the morning there for you right now?
It's 5:30 in the morning, but you know, things don't leave Vegas, and you don't sleep in Vegas apparently, so that's fine too. You know?
So there you go. Your SALT conference has been just a fantastic conference for Wall Street and hedge fund managers for a long time, Anthony. How is this year different?
Well, I think we've added a couple of elements this year. You know, Maria, I don't know a lot about cannabis, so we brought a whole cannabis group of people here. Same thing with crypto. We've also added some people from the private equity world and also from entertainment. You know, Scooter Braun, who's built some legendary musical performances, you know, performers like Ariana Grande, Justin Bieber, et cetera, is coming to talk about how he evaluates talent, which I think everybody here in the hedge fund community could use some advice on that as well. So I'm super excited about that. I'm going to be interviewing Chief of Staff John Kelly tonight, 6 p.m. Vegas time, which will be fun for me and him. I had him at our VIP event last night, and I think people were excited to see him. Jeff Sessions is here with Governor Christie, and we're going to be talking to them about the Mueller report, past, present, and future. Hopefully the country can get past that, Maria, and we can start focusing on policies that work for everybody. And,
so Jeff Sessions can talk about it now? Jeff Sessions going to talk about Russia now? I thought he recused himself.
Well, I think he recused himself in the process.
So,
but I think,
as a private citizen, you think you could talk to him? You think you can get some answers out of him about what he missed and how come he never pursued what was going on?
I think so.
Oh, okay.
I think so.
That'd be good.
I think he may have some news that he's going to announce this afternoon, so we'll see.
Oh, wow.
Look, I mean, listen. For me, it's a, you know, I just want to remind everybody that in February of 2016, he was the first U.S. senator to endorse then candidate Trump, and that was a monumental breakthrough for the candidate at that moment. So I know that the relationship got a lot tougher after that, and I know the president was very upset about Jeff's recusal as it related to the whole Mueller report and the Russian investigation.
Yeah, especially now that we've seen really the evidence of what went on. We really needed an attorney general that was going to be tough and actually hold the line of the law. So that's all I'm saying. But Steve, did you want to jump in? Steve Forbes is here. Anthony.
Hi, Anthony. Steve Forbes here. Any speculation on what you think the Republicans should do in terms of going on offense about Mueller, in terms of going on offense about taxes, like having a radical tax proposal?
Well, I mean, you and I would totally agree on the radical tax proposal. I think we, you know, the president was talking about a phase 2 of the taxes prior to the midterms, where he has to offer more tax relief to the middle class and lower middle income communities. I think if he does that, that's sort of the third leg of the stool. You and I, people like Steve Moore, understand that you can actually get the economic growth, Stephen, without a lot of inflation. And if he were to simplify the tax code for those people, and I know he wants to do that, he's just not sure if he can get it through the Congress, the way the Congress is configured right now, that would probably stabilize us in the 3% zone on GDP. So I hope that happens. As it relates to the Mueller report, you know, I'm probably of a different opinion than my fellow Republicans and the president. I want to push this as far behind us as possible. I'm not in love with the idea of investigating the investigators because the president has this unbelievable economic story. He's literally, through phenomenal policies, created an economic miracle.
Shouldn't what happened in 2015, 2016 finally be revealed? How intelligence agencies, FBI officials try to sabotage a particular campaign? Never been done before in American history.
No question. But let the inspector general do that. Let the processes in place that are around the checks and balances system do that. Again, these are my opinions. I want the president on message about the economic miracle that he's created in the United States.
Well, for 2 years, it was impossible for him to be on message because for 2 years, the whole public was going nuts over this collusion delusion, which was non-existent, Governor. And in fact, it was set up. And the FBI, the top of the FBI and the DOJ tried to entrap people in the Trump campaign. Yeah. So that's a huge deal. That's all I'm saying.
Absolutely. Anthony, you know, I just believe if we don't get to the bottom of it and people are not held accountable, we're going to live to see this again. It's got to be held in a way, not just the inspector general and sort of cleaning up internally. People need to be held publicly accountable for the total betrayal of our justice process, because if we don't do that, then really we have corrupted our country in a way that shreds the constitutional rights of people.
Yeah.
Oh, can I just ask the governor a question? Because I think he probably sees this thing similarly to me. And you've been a very successful campaigner your whole life. As we enter the next 18 months, and both of us want the president to win re-election and love what he's actually doing. So are you worried, though, sir, that too much time spent on that will detract from all of the great things that he's doing?
Well, we're not going to get the last 2 years back anytime soon. We're not going to get the 2 years that we just came off of back anytime soon either. So.
Maria, I agree with that, but I want him to win re-election. So I guess the question I'm asking the governor...
One doesn't preclude the other. Finding out what happened doesn't preclude the president from making the economy a big issue and focusing on that.
And, Anthony, I think he's got to stay away from it. The president
for me,
does.
I would want his...
He doesn't need to be the front and center of it. But let the Justice Department do the work.
That's my
Bill
point.
Barr do his job.
That's my point. That's my point. I want the Inspector General and Bill Barr to do his job.
Yeah.
And let's get the president out there on message on the economy, which will allow that to happen.
They're doing it.
Well, it's good to see you guys.
The Democrats don't want him to do it. All right. Thank you, Anthony. Have a great, successful fall.